Boise State might be under new leadership, but that doesn't mean that they're going to take a step back. If anything, they'll go back to contending again for the Mountain West title. They obviously took a little bit of a step back last year in Brian Harson's final season with the Broncos, but Andy Avalos is going to bring them back to where they need to be. And when you look at the top 10 players they have returning, it's going to be easy to see why that will be the case. At number 10, quarterback Jack Sears, the former USC transfer, stepped in for the starter last year a couple times and will compete with Hank Bachmeier, who we'll talk about in a little bit. He will compete for the starting spot, and that competition is what's going to make both of these guys better. Sears and Bachmeier both benefit from each other being around, and if Bachmeier does happen to go down, that Boise State knows that they have a guy that's ready to go and their second string, or vice versa if Sears is a starter and he gets hurt. Number 9 is George Holani. I absolutely love George Holani, how he runs the ball, the things that he can do with the ball in his hands. Physical runner who's capable of making big plays. It's just a matter of can he get enough touches with Andrew Van Buren and a couple other guys that will push him for touches. It's going to be tough for him to get the ball, but this is definitely, in my opinion, the most talented back on this roster. Number 8, guard Jake Stets, guy that if you're going to run the ball like Kalani does, if you're going to have a successful offense, you need the offensive lineman, and Boise State has those guys. And Stets is a guy who also was a former walk-on, so his story is pretty cool. And he last year was second team Mountain West All Conference, so his story is just really fun to watch, and he's one of many guys that are going to make this offense really exciting to watch this year. Another guy, John Ajuku, excuse me, another second team Mountain West guy, brings 20 plus starts, just like Stets does. Another talented player who's going to protect Bachmeier or Sears at all costs. Number 6, Shane Irwin, another guy whose story is pretty cool, where he came from and now where he's gone to. Another second team Mountain West. There's a lot of second team Mountain West guys from Boise State. A bunch of talent that can elevate to even higher. You see that they are already at a high level and they can take a next step. With teams like Nevada and San Jose State, it's easy to see why it's going to be tough to win the conference. But again, this is a talented team who's more than capable of getting back on top. Number 5, Cacao Canio. I put him as safety, but they use him as a nickelback. They use him as corner. They really put him everywhere. And holy cow, does this guy know how to produce. Second team All Mountain West last year. He has 163 tackles, 21 and a half are for loss, 5 picks, 21 passes defended in his career. So he does a little bit of everything for Boise State, kind of the Swiss Army knife for this defense. And he's fun to watch, fly out around the field and make plays for this defense. Number 4, C.T. Thomas, a guy who doesn't really get as much attention as he deserves. He's a quick player, runs some impressive routes, and with the guy that we're going to talk about in a little bit, it's easy to see why he gets overshadowed, even though he has over 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns in his career. Number 3, a guy who decided to return this year and surprised a lot of people in Ryder Whippy. 213 tackles in his career, 18 and a half for loss with 10 passes defended. He also wears a neck plate, and neck plates just look super cool, especially on linebackers. You automatically are bumped up in terms of talent if you have a neck plate on you. And Ryder Whippy is the guy who's going to make a ton of plays. He's going to be the leader of the defense for Boise State. Number 2, and here's the thing, if Hank Bachmeier is healthy, which that's obviously a big question for him, if he is healthy, he's one of the best quarterbacks in all of college football. This kid does not get rattled. If you watched his first game as a freshman against Florida State, he was getting absolutely demolished by Florida State's defense. And the fact that he stood tall, stood tough, and didn't back down and still made some incredible plays, and I could watch those over and over again, made some incredible throws, under pressure, in distress, it says a lot about him. Again, he has to stay healthy. If he can, I think this offense can reach new heights. But if not, Sears is going to have to take over, and that kind of disrupts the flow of the offense. But Bachmeier is easily the most talented quarterback on this roster and one of the more talented quarterbacks in all of college football. If he can stay healthy, it's going to be exciting to see where his game can take him. Number one is wide receiver Khalil Shakir. In his career, he's done a lot for Boise State, from running the ball to catching the ball. Very athletic, very acrobatic catcher. Was a first team All Mountain West selection last year. Again, does a little bit of everything for the offense, kind of gives them what Canio does to the defense, a little bit of a Swiss Army knife, very versatile, diverse in what they ask him to do. It'll be interesting to see what the new offense will have him do. I can't imagine it's anything too different than what he's done in the past. But as you can see, this is a very talented team, both on offense and defense. Boise State is looking to get back to contending for the Mountain West title, and with top 10 like this, and there are a lot of guys behind them that we didn't include, with a top 10 like this, it's easy to see why that's entirely possible.